Good afternoon everybody. It is a lovely sunny day and a little bit windy, it looks like, over in Old Donyo in Kenya. My name is Kerry Dupree. I'll be joining you this afternoon live at the waterhole. Very happy to see we've started our day with some zebra coming down for a drink. So just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive experience. You can watch us on our app, and if you're watching on our website, you can register to ask those questions. Send through your comments. I'd love to know what your afternoon snack or treat is. I've got a cup of coffee next to me and some delicious chocolate cookies. So there's also a QR code on screen now. You can scan the QR code to send through those questions and comments. What a lovely way to start the day. We have Jordan and our MC team in Johannesburg, and on tech we have MJ. What a lovely day. So it's quite a warm day here in Old Donyo. It looks a little bit windy though and overcast. I am currently coming to you from Zimbabwe, just visiting for a little bit. So it's a nice cool day. We've got high temperatures of about 23 degrees here in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, and low temperatures about 15-16 degrees. So still have a nice warm jacket and a scarf on as winter hits us in southern Africa. Oh, what happened to our zebra? Looks like something has given them a bit of a fright. So I was just having a look at the Africam Instagram page to see some updates from some of our locations. So it looks like we had a really cool sighting of a Macinder's eagle owl over in Lentore. That is a new owl for me. So go have a look at the Africam Instagram page if you want to see a very interesting new owl. That quite an elusive owl, very shy, that popped in at Lentore. We also had a lot of buffalo coming down to a few of the watering holes this last couple of days. Some lions that have been seen in Sondela watering hole. 2 lionesses over in Mwana, the Mwana Pride or Black Dam males also spent some time there. We're going to head across to Rosie's Pan, see what else we have out there today, folks. Oh, alright, so just before we started the show, we had a bit of interaction with this hippo and these elephants. I'm not sure if the hippo is just having a rather grumpy day and wasn't too happy with the elephants being down at this watering hole. Sometimes you get a bit of a very strange interspecies interaction with elephants and hippos at watering holes. But yeah, this hippo looks like he's just having a very chilled day over in Rosie's Pan in Olifants West Game Reserve. Looks like some youngsters, could be some sub-adult males in a little bachelor herd that are just hanging around this area. It is getting very dry as the winter has already arrived. A lot of our locations, it's drying up quite quickly. So yeah, these pans will be dwindling. Big hippos like this big hippo bull will be moving from one water source to another in search of deeper watering holes. So they can move quite far distances, these hippos, at night, up to 30 kilometers if they're looking for grass, grazing, as well as trying to seek refuge in deeper waters. These watering holes and pans start to get very shallow, and the hippos have very sensitive skin to the sun. They don't want to be out in the sun getting their skin baked by the sunshine. So talking about hippos, we had some very interesting hippo and hyena activity on one of the Africam cameras. I'm not seeing a location, but it looks like it could be in Botswana at the farmhouse, one of the new locations. We had 3 or 4 hyenas coming down at night, and looks like they were giving a little hippo a hard time. So yeah, really great to follow up with this Africam Instagram page. You really see all the activity that's been happening. I know there was a very cute little mongoose interaction the other day, 2 little mongoose that were play fighting with one another. I saw one ton was in a bit of an altercation. The big elephant one ton over in Oldonyo had a bit of a fight with some younger elephant bulls. He's a very impressive male, and yeah, very cool to see him ruling the roost and pushing off some other elephant bulls from the watering hole. Every now and then these younger elephant bulls do need to be put in their place a little bit. They get a little bit too feisty, especially in a situation like this with very limited water. Some of the elephants can get a little bit protective, or a little bit how can I say, they hog the watering hole a little bit. So yeah, that's when fights can break out between different elephant bulls.
I feel it is a rosetted morning for us. So yes, let's see what we can find.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Is he still there? He looked like he was in breeding plumage. These widers do change their feathers quite a lot during the breeding season. The males grow these very long black tails. I do love the pin-tailed wider, or they have long beautiful feathers during the breeding season. So the long-tailed paradise of wider, I think it's could have changed its name recently. We did see some widers over in Kenya once. We saw the steel blue wider and the straw-tailed wider all together. Yeah, 2 males, 2 new very cool wider species. Maybe there was some inter-species competition going on there. I hope we can see him, so keep an eye out. Look down here at the water's edge. I'm pretty sure I saw a wider of some sort. It looked like a long-tailed paradise wider that came down to the water, but maybe he has taken off already. We'll keep our eyes peeled. I think this is quite a good hotspot. I've also seen wattled starling, a male wattled starling, in some trees here before, also in breeding plumage. Right, let's head over to Oldonyo. There seems to be an elephant approaching. Ooh, so we've got a nice big elephant bull that has just come down to the watering hole. We were just talking about Oldonyo and how one ton was here the other day, the big elephant tusker, that was having a bit of an altercation with some younger bulls. But looks like we've got an oryx that has also come down to the watering hole. You can see an oryx just lying down on the ground just behind this elephant here. A couple of zebra that are still hanging around. They seem to be frightened from the watering hole earlier. Maybe they've relaxed and might hang around for another bit of a drink. Hello, big boy. So on cold, windy days like today, you do find a lot of animals seek refuge from this cold weather by lying down. You often see, especially in big open areas, like in the Eastern Cape, maybe over in Amakhala. I know in the Drakensberg on a cold day, cold windy days, a lot of these antelope will lie down in the open grasslands to get away from that nasty wind. Oh. Seems like it's time for the elephant bulls to come down for a bit of a drink. Oh wow, okay. Looks like we've got quite a few bulls coming down here. Always lovely to have the elephant bulls coming down to the watering hole for a bit of a drink. Seem to be having a bit of a sniff. I think these bulls are either in the same bachelor group or they do know each other. Sorry folks, our feed just gave us a little bit of trouble in Oldonyo. We do seem to have some signal issues there sometimes, but lovely to see those elephant bulls coming down for a drink. So we're back in Rosie's pan with our hippo in the middle of the watering hole. So we're going to try and head back across to Oldonyo. Hopefully the signal is stable enough for us to watch those magnificent elephant bulls. Alrighty, lovely to see these elephants here in Kenya. We have another comment from Jeremy457. Thank you for sending your comment, Jeremy. This is a perfect setting, very peaceful elephant bulls and lovely content. So Jeremy, thank you for sending through your comment. Jeremy, I'd love to know what snack you have with you this afternoon. Are you sitting with a tea, a coffee, a cool beverage, an iced tea, a soda? What snacks do you have with you today? I know, sometimes on our Live at the Waterholes we all share what little treats and snacks we have with us this afternoon. So this looks like floppy ear on the left. I know there's a big floppy-eared elephant bull that often comes down here. So these elephant bachelor groups will roam around, spend a lot of time in these areas, especially where this watering hole is. So I know we have had some comments from viewers asking why we don't see elephant breeding herds here that often. We mostly see big elephant bulls, and I'm pretty sure we had some of our viewers commenting before about the fact that this area is quite difficult for the elephant breeding herds to get into, so they generally don't move around in this area. It's mostly the elephant bulls. There's not so much water, could be a shortage of water in this area, so it's very far distances the elephants have to travel in order to find a water source. That might be a very good reason why we only see big bachelor bulls. We have a comment from Computer Enthusiast. Thank you for sending your comment. Apparently, Computer Enthusiast is saying that he's having his morning coffee. I hope you're enjoying your morning coffee. Definitely winter is a good time to have many cups of coffee. I think it's been quite chilly here in Zimbabwe the last couple of days. We've been having some cold weather blowing in from South Africa, So I've been having many cups of coffee every day. Definitely I'm a big coffee fan. Got our zebra still around. I'm not seeing any giraffe today. We haven't seen our secretary birds for quite some time, so it'd be lovely to see our secretary birds coming down. I know on the live drives, I've been watching some of the live drives the last couple of mornings. We have Leon at Sandringham that had a very nice elephant bull that he was sitting with I think it was yesterday morning, watching this huge big elephant bull munching away at an acacia tree that he had pushed over. So lovely that Leon got to spend some time with a nice big elephant bull, very calmly feeding right by his vehicle. We were sitting in this pan. I was chatting earlier about photography and how nice it is when you're sitting at a watering hole, sitting at a pan. You really get time to focus on the smaller parts of animals, get those nice close-up pictures of elephants' tusks, their trunks, their ears, their skin, really images that help you to feel the texture. You almost, by looking at the photo, you can feel the texture of the elephant's skin, their tails, nice close-up photos of their toenails as well. Really get an understanding of the huge size of these incredible creatures. Got our zebra still vocalizing there, so it could be the males, if males are fighting with one another, or often that is the same call as the contact call of a female that could be looking for her foal that might be lost. We have a few new locations over in Botswana that has been very busy with the zebra and wildebeest. Lots of zebra and wildebeest over in Botswana. They're all kind of congregating and forming their little mini migratory herds as they're moving through these different areas in Botswana in search of water and green grass, or any grass to feed on. It's very interesting watching these big elephant bulls. So these bulls all know each other, but when elephants meet an individual that they don't know, it's quite crazy how you see them getting into quite big altercations and fighting with one another. But obviously these elephants all understand who's in charge, who's the big boss amongst these bulls. Not too much conflict today. So much body language is going on here that we are actually not aware of. A lot of elephants' communication is not audible to the human ear. They communicate through many different forms of infrasound and vibrations through the ground that they receive through their feet. So elephants' feet, they have these very hard underneath, but they do have this soft padding which helps them to receive a lot of these vibrations and communications through the ground, through their feet. So when we do hear elephants communicating with one another, it's kind of the end part of a conversation, or when the communication is elevated in a fighting manner. Terribly sorry, folks. We are having some signal challenges over in Oldonyo, but we have come across to Moela Lodge in Botswana. I was just talking about this new location that we had so many zebra the other day. I think I was with Nadine, and there was so many zebra we could barely even, you couldn't even count. There was just zebra everywhere. Lots of vocalizing, lots of contact calls. It was a zebra and wildebeest paradise. They were all moving through this area, having a bit of a drink and feeding before they continued on to a new location.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild.
Out here, every moment counts. As a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Just having a nice quiet moment as we watch this interactions with the zebra. I find it so fascinating how these zebra come down to the watering hole. They don't seem too fazed by the elephants, but often you have elephants chasing impala at this watering hole. Lots of commotion, lots happening. We seem to have a very lazy trunked elephant over here. So we've got some comments coming through here from Maisha from SA. Good afternoon, Maisha. So Maisha's question is, Kerry, this is a very busy watering hole. And yes, Maisha, it's very amazing. I know this watering hole is one of my favorite and probably the watering hole that I've seen the most species at. I think we counted one day 7 different species at this watering hole. We had elephant, we had zebra, warthog, elephant, zebra, warthog, eland. I think we also had kudu. It was crazy. We had so many different species at this watering hole, so it can be very busy. I know there's a female or lioness in the area that had some cubs a few months ago. They've had cheetah at this watering hole as well, being very cautious. Even at night, this watering hole has some rather unusual interactions that go on here. So yes, very busy watering hole indeed. I haven't seen any wattled starlings for a while, but the wattled starlings are often around, and we were talking about earlier how we've seen 2 very incredible wider species at this watering hole. So the steel blue wider and the straw-tailed wider, which are 2 species I've never seen before. So thank goodness we have our viewers to help with identification on some of these birds that I might not be aware of. Penelope Kenyon has sent through her comment as well. Yes, Penelope, there are lots of zebies out today, and it is a lovely sighting just to listen to those zebra and to see them. They always bring a bit of a dizzle-dazzle to every scene. I love the contrast of that black and white. Look at these elephants. He's rubbing his eye. So Jeremy457 has sent through a comment. Apparently Jeremy is saying it is getting really crowded at this watering hole. So yes, it was quite crowded earlier. Find the zebra, they can be very, what is the word? So zebra can be quite aggressive and kind of bossy and pushy at watering holes, chasing other species away. But for example, I've seen warthogs coming down to drink at this watering hole, and impala. This poor oryx would probably also like a drink, maybe even giraffe if they come down, and there are quite a few elephant bulls here. They will chase them away. Lots of loving interaction going on between these bulls. So this is a very important part of their development, is the social bonding between individuals. So these bulls bonding with one another, fighting with one another is also so important for their social development. Jeremy457, thank you for your comment. He is saying, thanks Kerry, you're really informative and your commentary really helps. Thank you, Jeremy, for watching. If it's not for our viewers at home that avidly watch Wild Earth, we wouldn't be here. So thank you, Jeremy, and thank you to all of our viewers at home watching. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to share these incredible wildlife moments with you all, sitting at home watching this incredible day go by. Seems like our floppy-eared friend's trunk is rather lazy. He's been just standing there with his trunk relaxing on the ground. So I think I'd also have a bit of a lazy trunk if my trunk or nose weighed 8 to 11 kilograms. Imagine carrying around a heavy nose like that with you every day. I think I'd also be a bit tired. So even though they're so heavy, those trunks are so crucial to the survival of these elephants. They have so many muscles in those trunks, and they're so dexterous and able to use them to drink, feeding, picking up small objects. So very, very sensitive to the tips of their trunks there. This elephant, what is he up to? So I have seen elephants with missing parts of their trunks. Unfortunately, elephants do get their trunks stuck in snares quite often. And lions, I have seen baby elephants that have had their trunks eaten off by lions. But it's amazing how these elephants still adapt to survive even without part of their trunk. They'll bend down onto their haunches and modify the way that they feed in order to survive. So even if an elephant loses part of its trunk, it can actually still manage to survive. They'll also use part of their feet to help while feeding. So we've got a comment coming through from Julian Thomas saying that there is a white-browed sparrow weaver briefly at the bottom of the left part of the screen. Yes, Julian, I did see the white-browed sparrow weaver. I think this is our laughing dove, but I think this sparrow weaver is actually closer to us on the other side of the pan. But, we're just admiring this elephant's lovely toes and very intricate trunk. So have a look at that trunk there. It almost looks like a part of a finger, modified hand, and that's basically what the elephants will use their trunk for. Such an important part of their survival. To me, it kind of looks like a very strange, large caterpillar. You see all those wrinkles, and the closer you look on an elephant's trunk, you will actually see tiny little hairs as well. Where's our sparrow weaver? Oh, there's a little sparrow weaver at the bottom of the screen there. Julian Thomas, I know you're very much into your birding. I would like you, really recommend you go and have a look, Julian Thomas, at that eagle owl that was seen at Lentore, or the Mackinder's eagle owl that was recorded recently at Lentore. It looked like he had a lot of bats flying around him, giving him a bit of a hard time. Head across to the Africam Instagram page and check out that amazing Mackinder's eagle owl. It's a very new species to me. I'm not aware of, never seen a Mackinder's eagle owl. But amazing to see some night life on the Africam cameras. Running Bear has sent through a comment. Yes, Running Bear, these elephants are huge, and so are their trunks. Very useful, dexterous tool that they have. They do have tiny little hairs also inside, just at the base of the trunk there. We're talking about the elephant's trunk, and those tiny hairs also prevent insects or any foreign creatures from getting into the trunk. So elephants, even though they don't have much hair on their body, they do have these quite thick hair follicles covering their whole body. Obviously when they're younger, these little hair, they have a lot more hair. I think for me, forest elephant have a lot more little hairs than your African bush elephant, but as they get bigger, their hair becomes less visible, and those hairs are very important, a good sensory factor, and apparently it does assist them in losing heat. So in keeping heat in their body, these hairs are very useful, even though they are so tiny. What is this elephant up to? Is he digging for minerals? I don't think the water outlet is here, so this elephant could be searching for minerals right now as he uses his foot and his trunk to dig away in search of some nutritious and nutrient-rich minerals. Very interesting how every single elephant, just like us humans, we are all different and unique. Just like with zebra, their stripes and patterns is unique to each and every single individual. Same with elephants. Every elephant is different. Their tusk length, their tusk shape and form is different to each and every single individual. So we have a question here from Vivete Rianman, is asking how much does an elephant's trunk weigh. So an elephant's trunk can weigh on average between 100 to 140 kilograms. Wow. I think I was maybe a bit mistaken earlier. I thought an elephant's trunk was weighing about 11 kilograms, but that must have been a sub-adult or a young elephant. So you're looking at about 100 to 140 kilograms, or 200 to about 300 pounds is the weight of an adult elephant's trunk. So when they're still young, in their adolescent years and sub-adults, their trunks are about 11 to 15 kilograms. But the older they get, like these big elephant bulls, their trunks are quite impressive in their size. That's quite a substantial weight that they carry around with them. And their elephants' trunks are made up of about 40 to 45,000 individual muscle groups. So the entire human body is made up of about 600 muscle groups, whereas an elephant's trunk alone has about 40,000 muscle groups. Isn't that incredible?
This unfolds in front of you.
Would you like to know the difference between a male and a female wildebeest? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Reptiles like lizards, skinks, maybe even a monitor lizard if it's unlucky, even other smaller birds. So they will prey on other birds. Oh, looks like our chick is taking an afternoon nap. Let's head to Naledi Dam, shall we? A zebra here. Seems like zebras are the flavor of the day. Had lots of zebra at our different locations. This looks like a stallion. I spent a lot of time working very closely with zebra. Something has given the zebra a little bit of a fright here. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time working very closely with zebra, and obviously I am a horse lover, so zebra and horses to me are very similar. So you can, find it's a lot easier than to identify the different individuals, males or females. We've also got a giraffe. Hello, Mr. Giraffe. Nice to see a giraffe today. It's our first giraffe of the afternoon. I wonder where this stallion's harem is. So generally the makeup or social structure of a zebra, one male with a harem of females. looks like a female giraffe. Yes, lovely to see giraffe this afternoon. Yeah, we're managing to get through quite a few species today. Let's head back to Old Donyo, folks. Our feed is unstable. Apologies, seems like we're having just a bit of a challenge with our feed there at the Lady Dam. We're back in Old Donyo. I think our elephants have disappeared, but we've still got some zebra hanging around. Looks like there's still quite a lot of grass cover here in Old Donyo. I know Kenya, they do experience a bit of late rain, so that could have been why the grass is still looking quite lush here in this location. Still lots of grass for all the animals to feed on. And we've got a solitary oryx that maybe he's having an identity crisis and thinks he is a zebra all of a sudden. I think this does happen in the animal world as well, where specific individuals do have partial identity crisis mode, like our hyena over in Juma. What was his name? He decided that he was going to be a wild dog for a couple of days. I think his name was Sherlock. I think they named him Sherlock. Yeah. So it does happen in the animal kingdom too. Although the zebra don't seem too keen on him joining their little harem. Got lots of elephant dung here, perfect for, yeah, we actually saw yesterday, we had a lovely sighting of a monitor lizard over in Wangi at the Hyde, and the monitor lizard, or yesterday, day before, could have been Monday, and the monitor lizard was rummaging through some elephant dung. So this elephant dung at these watering holes is so beneficial to many different species. Obviously your guinea fowl come through and scratch in the elephant dung looking for seeds or anything to feed on. You get lots of insects, your dung beetles. If the elephant dung is in water, fish will even sift through elephant dung. I've seen palm nut vultures also looking in the dung of elephants to see if they can find any seeds or nuts or partially decomposed fruit. Squirrels will also dig through elephant dung, hoping to find a few nuts to store in the little squirrel storage spots. Do you find it quite unusual how squirrels, they're very good at saving for the winter months or the months when they might not get food, but I find squirrels don't always remember where they store all of their nuts. Maybe if we're lucky, our white-browed sparrow weaver will come back. It's a very brief sighting of that white-browed sparrow weaver. Oop, looks like we've got a wagtail here. Hello, little guy. Hoping there might be some more widers around. I'd love to see some of these very unusual widers here in Old Donyo. So many bird species that I have not seen in Kenya yet that I'd love to see. Interesting sound. I don't know if any of our viewers know what this call is. I think it might be one of the wattled starlings vocalizing, but if I'm wrong, please may some of our viewers correct me. There's a very unusual sound of a bird vocalizing. Maybe you'll call again. Talking about bird vocalization and calls, we have a question from the cat father. Is asking how far can a mother eagle hear her chicks call? Are there any dangers that face the chick in the nest? I think what he's trying to ask there. So the cat father, thank you for your comment. Oh, here's a little white-browed sparrow weaver. Hello, little guy. Thanks for showing yourself. So to answer your question, the cat father, about our eagle, our Verreaux's eagle. So the female eagle or the parents can hear their chick calling from quite a distance. The chick will call if there's any dangers around. So eagles have a very sharp sense of hearing. As studies show, their hearing is a lot sharper than their vision. So a mother eagle can typically hear her chick calling from several hundred meters away. So if there's no parent on the nest and the chick is in distress, maybe the nest is being raided by a python. African rock pythons will obviously raid birds' nests if they can. Often leopard can also raid some of these nests. So the chick will call, and from several hundred meters away the parents can already hear this calling and quickly rush back to the nest and hopefully save their chick from any danger. So in these rocky habitats of these very high cliffs, the high-pitched clicking or begging call of the chick will echo. So it does echo through quite a distance in order for the parents to be alerted of danger. So in some species like the black eagle or Verreaux's eagles, parents do alternate feeding visits and are usually close enough to the nest in order to monitor this little chick and listen for any vocalizations. Lovely to see our two little white-browed sparrow weavers coming down for a drink. So it's quite a common bird in southern Africa, the white-browed sparrow weaver. They do commonly make their nests up in acacia trees in colonies. Not very tidy nests, the white-browed sparrow weavers. Normally quite scruffy nests. They just make up in the trees. Let's see, maybe I can find the call for the white-browed sparrow weaver. Very happy call when they're all calling together. So I've got the vocalization here for the white-browed sparrow weaver.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! Whoa! This is action-packed.
Out here, every wild moment matters, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel, ad-free 24/7, where you can even rewind and watch something again. Get access to behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and access to early travel offers. It is the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
So yeah, the thickness of this elephant's skin. So elephants do need to have very thick skin, because imagine how much of this vegetation they walk through, very thick, dense vegetation. Earlier we were talking about those very nasty acacia trees. You have to be careful you don't get swatted in the face on a game drive or a walking safari or horse safari and cause quite nasty injuries. So yeah, the elephant's skin can reach about between 2 to 2.5 centimeters thick, or about an inch. It's quite thick, dense skin, very rough, and that's to protect their bodies from any injuries, especially when it comes to injuries that might be caused by trees, branches, or stumps. So even though it is so thick, the elephant's skin is very sensitive. So they can feel a fly or a little insect landing on their skin. So we're discussing an elephant's skin and how sensitive their skin is, even though it is so thick that protects their bodies. So I spoke about earlier how elephants have those tiny hairs, so those tiny little hair follicles, even though they're very thick. So it's not like it's similar to our hair, but it is adapted or modified hair, so it's a lot shorter and very thick, each little hair follicle. And those little hair follicles help them to feel and sense what's happening on their skin. Also, another interesting fact about the elephant's skin. So as you can see, it's very wrinkled. I would want to say that this elephant looks like he needs to moisturize a little bit. I think he needs to work on his moisturizing regime, because there are a lot of wrinkles on his skin. But these wrinkles on their skin do serve a purpose. They do help to increase the elephant's surface area, which does help in heat regulation. So I guess there is a reason for elephants having wrinkled skin. So we will pardon him from not moisturizing his skin so well, so it does help to regulate the temperature. And elephants don't actually sweat like us humans do, so that's why their skin does play a very crucial role in thermoregulating their body temperature. So when they are too hot, and like us humans, we start sweating and perspiring, cooling ourselves down, elephants would flap their ears. So flapping the ears is one way to cool themselves down, as well as taking water, splashing themselves with water, or having a mud bath. So we've got the unusual bird that's calling here, so I'll have a quiet moment so we can listen, and then Julian Thomas has an answer for us about this bird. Come on, bird. Knows that we're talking about him. So Julian Thomas, thank you for your comment. So I thought this unusual call was from the wattled starlings, but Julian Thomas says he thinks the call that we were hearing was from a white-bellied go-away bird, which apparently Julian has seen before in El Doño. I have seen this white-bellied go-away bird over in Lentore, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them here. So I would say that's a pretty good guess, Julian. But let's have a look. I will check my eBird and we will play the call of the white-bellied go-away bird, and we'll see if it matches this vocalization. So I've got the call right here. Let's play it for you and see if it's the same. So Julian Thomas, I think you might be correct about that call. It was quite an unusual sound. So the white-bellied go-away bird is quite an unusual grey Tarocco with a long tail and a towering crest. So just like our grey Lowry, very similar to our grey Lowry in southern Africa, or grey go-away bird. To see if we can hear these grey go-away birds calling, the white-bellied go-away bird. Right, our feet here is a bit unstable. Let's head across to Camelthorn and see what's happening with our hippos. Alrighty, so this is one of our very new and exciting locations, Camelthorn Farmstead over in Botswana. It's not too far from Moala, the other location just now in Botswana that we saw with the zebra and the wildebeest. Normally, this pan is filled with hippo. Do see a few crocodile on the bank there. Hello, Mr. Crocodile. So I'm just catching up on some comments here. So we have a question from Wildlife Lady is asking, do all weavers make the same kind of nest? So Wildlife Lady, no, not all weavers make the same kind of nest. If you compare a white-browed sparrow weaver's nest to a, which is very scruffy and messy and just looks like a pile of grass in a tree, to a red-headed weaver's nest, they can barely compare. So red-headed weavers are very intricate in their nests. Oh, African fish eagle. Like we had an African fish eagle calling. So yes, Wildlife Lady, all weavers' nests are different. My favorite weaver's nest is a Malimbe's nest, which is also was classified as a weaver. So it's a weaver in West Africa. It is a black and red bird that makes a nest with a very long tunnel. So this tunnel is to help protect its eggs from predators. So yeah, all weavers do make different nests, and quite interesting, our dormouse, little dormouse, they also make nests, which have once or twice confused me with a weaver's nest. So I hope that answers your question there, Wildlife Lady. So Jeremy456 has asked a question, do elephants attract lots of flies, and is there a way for them to protect themselves from the flies? So Jeremy457, elephants don't attract many flies to their skin. They're generally, unless they have a wound or an injury, and in that case they'll use their trunk and their tail to swish away all of those flies that might be bothering them. So unless they have an open wound or injury that might be festering, that is when they might struggle with the flies, and in that case often elephants will cover their skin with mud. Oh, there's our hippos announcing their presence. So sounds like we do have a lot of hippos somewhere here. I know at Camelthorn over in Botswana we do have lots of hippos that hang around at this location. So this crocodile seems very relaxed in the sunshine here. He's lying on the edge of the bank. So crocodiles are obviously ectothermic. So just like we were speaking about the elephant and how elephants cannot sweat to cool themselves down, same with crocodiles. So crocodiles are they need to be able to put themselves out in the sun to warm up their bodies. and their scoots on the back of their body there does help to retain a lot of the heat in order to keep themselves warm throughout the night. It's quite a big crocodile. I would not want to come past this crocodile in the water. Oop, listen to those hippos. This crocodile will probably feed on medium-sized antelope, but crocodiles are opportunistic hunters, so they do feed on a lot of fish throughout their lifespan. But if they can have an opportunistic meal of an antelope, that unsuspecting antelope, they'll definitely take that chance. We've seen the crocodiles killing some waterbuck over a towel. Looks like we've got a water thickney just over to the right here. So crocodiles are cold-blooded. I mentioned about generating their body heat, so they like sun tanning, spending lots of time out in the sun. If they need to absorb more heat, they'll often open up their mouths, and they can also absorb some heat through their mouth there. So Mandla has sent a question. Mandla is asking, can hippos and crocodiles hang out peacefully together? So yes, Mandla, hippos and crocodiles, they don't really compete for anything. Hippos are carnivores, crocodiles are carnivores, hippos are herbivores, so they don't necessarily compete for food. In times where maybe the space is limited, water's limited, hippos might be a bit pushy with the crocodiles, but crocodiles kind of have to be a bit careful of the hippos, because hippo could kill a crocodile with one bite, so crocodiles do avoid getting too close to hippos unless there's a little calf. But the last thing a crocodile wants is to be chomped in half by a very large hippopotamus, because he was trying to get an easy meal of feeding on a small hippo calf. Although if a hippo calf is on its own away from the parents, crocodile, as mentioned, is opportunistic and it will take that opportunity to have a quick and easy meal. I know this crocodile might seem like he's not doing much right now, but it's incredible how quickly those crocodiles can move and get into the water. So Jory has asked a question about, besides meat, what do crocodiles eat? So crocodiles do have a variety of a diet. As I mentioned earlier, throughout their lifespan, crocodiles will feed on fish. It's a very good substitute for them to feed on. They'll also feed on birds as well. They're very opportunistic. When they're small, they'll feed on little tadpoles, any sort of small aquatic creatures they'll feed on, but mostly I'd say fish, birds, small prey. I've seen crocodiles eating monitor lizards. I've seen crocodiles feeding on a python that, I don't know, maybe got washed downstream and caught by a crocodile somehow. So they do have quite a variety of food that they feed on. They will also scavenge, so crocodiles are also scavengers. They will go and scavenge any dead carcasses in the water, so they do help to clean up any carcasses that are in the water, and that prevents the spread and growing of any bacteria and parasites that could infect the water. So often when hippos die, then the crocodiles will come in and clean up. So Billy Judd has also sent through a comment asking, do crocs kill hippo calves? So Billy Judd, it's not common that crocodiles will kill hippo calves, but again, as I mentioned, if there is a crocodile calf on its own, separated by its mother, does need to watch out, because crocodiles will take a chance to kill that little hippo calf. But mother hippos or female hippos are very protective over those little calves. I tell you, we've done a lot of canoeing safaris and boating safaris, and
I met this remarkable rhino bull, whose name is Samson, last year in a place of extraordinary beauty, history and story. I'm going back there to see him in October, and I think you should come with me to his mysterious mountain fastness.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a citizen, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve. Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Here over in Thorny Bush, and as I mentioned the other day, there was some lionesses seen here. So let's have a look. I know there were some lionesses seen in this area in Serendella. So the apparently it was the Moana Pride and some of the Black Dam males that spent some time resting in the shade before moving off into the bushes. That was yesterday. So about 24 hours ago, we did have some lionesses and some of the Black Dam males that were hanging out in this area, moving through, maybe looking to make a kill. It's such a treat to see these lions here, so we'll keep our eyes open, but the bush is so dry at the moment. Incredible how these lions blend in so well to this kind of very dry, yellow, tawny vegetation, the grass, everything is dry. Right, we don't seem to have much going on here. I don't see any lions. So let's head over to Moana in Botswana and see what's happening there. Alrighty, so we're here over in Moela Lodge in Botswana. You would not believe me if I told you a few days ago that this area had so many zebra and wildebeest you could barely count them. Now there's they obviously have moved through already, not so many individuals left behind, except for this. It looks like a very lonely elephant bull. Oh, we'll have a listen. I think there's some wildebeest. I think we've got some lizard buzzard activity in Aldonio. Let's go have a look, see what bird of prey is waiting for us. Ooh. What do we have here? Is this a little lizard buzzard? Oh my goodness. Awesome to see a little bird of prey. So very prominent sear color there, and that typical black stripe down its throat. It does look like a lizard buzzard. How cool is this? Nice little bird of prey coming down to feed. Maybe it's caught. I hope it has not caught our little friendly lizard that normally hangs out just at the base of this camera here. What have you caught, guy? I once looked after a lizard buzzard shame. I think it had flown into a window close to my house, and it was a little bit disorientated. So we took care of it for about a few hours, gave it some water, and then it very quickly retreated and carried on feeding in the area close by. What a lovely sighting of a lizard buzzard. So it's quite a small, chunky, greyish hawk, very distinctive pale throat. Just trying to get the focus in there. Sorry folks, I think we are really struggling with our feed over in Old Donyo today. Well, nice to briefly see that lizard buzzard. So they do feed on small little murids, so small mice, lizards and other creatures. So I'm sure he might have flown down and captured some unsuspecting creature. I just pray that it's not our little lizard that hangs out in the front of the camera there. Right, let's see what's happening at Jackie's pan. Alright, let's head back to Botswana and see what's happening at our other locations. This seems a bit quiet here at Jackie's pan in the Sabi Sands. Right, so we've still got our very lonely elephant bull all by himself. So we had a good question coming through from the cat father. So as we sit and watch this elephant, I'll go through some of these questions. So the cat father was asking, is the same brain function shared between eagles and beavers that make them good at nest building? So the cat father, thank you for your question. So yes, eagles and beavers are both very skilled in building structures. Just like in humans, you get specific people that are great at maintenance and building houses and building all kinds of buildings and interesting arty people, and then you get some humans that's not quite their calling in life. So obviously eagles and beavers, this is very much their calling in life, and they are very skilled. They do have very interesting similarities in the way that they do build their nest, but each different individual, whether it's a bird or a mammal, they do build their nest in different ways in order to fulfill the role or the whatever role that nest needs to fulfill. So beavers are mostly focused on building dams in order to block waterways, and then obviously eagles are forming these massive nests in order to protect their little chicks up in the nest. So this elephant seems like he's drinking water straight from this pump here. They like to drink nice fresh clean water, which I don't blame them. Some of this water can get quite muddy and murky, filled with elephant dung sometimes. So Isaac Moore has sent through a comment. So Isaac is asking, how long does an elephant take to drink water? So Isaac, an elephant can spend as much time to drink water as it needs. This guy seems to be here quite a bit. They do need to drink a few times a day, elephants. Oh, fish eagle. So elephants do need to drink a couple of times a day in order to sustain those large bodies of theirs. So it's quite an interesting topic, elephants and drinking. So elephants don't actually drink directly through their trunk. So if you notice while we watch this elephant, he'll suck up as much water as he can in his trunk, which an elephant can hold about 10 to 12 liters of water in his trunk at one time, or 2 to 3 gallons, which is a huge amount of water. Imagine holding 10 liters of water in your trunk. And then once he's sucked up that water through his trunk, have a look next, he will then filter the water or feed the water into his mouth when he swallows it. So they'll also suck up this water and spray it behind their ears to cool their body temperature down. So a single elephant, like this big elephant bull we are watching now, may drink about 100 to 200 liters of water a day, which is about 25 to 50 gallons of water each and every single day, depending on the heat and the temperature, size of the elephant. I mean, I struggle to drink 3 to 4 liters of water a day, but imagine drinking 100 to 200 liters of water every single day. He's listening to the wildebeest. I think there's some sub-adult wildebeest vocalizing in the background here. So elephants are highly water-dependent creatures. They do need to drink at least once a day, especially females or breeding herds with calves. If they have small calves within their breeding herd, they'll sometimes need to drink 2 to 3 times a day so that those little ones don't die of thirst. So elephants can smell water for several kilometers away. Of course, they've got a very keen sense of smell with that very specialized and modified trunk/nose of theirs. So even in very dry riverbeds, they'll use their trunk and feet to dig little wells. I'm sure if you've seen a dry riverbed in Africa somewhere, you'll often see these holes that have been dug, often by elephants, which creates little mini watering holes. And other animals do rely on these mini watering holes made by elephants. So you'll get little bushbuck, birds, and all kinds of little creatures coming down to drink by these watering holes in riverbeds that are made by the elephants. I hope that answers your question, Isaac Moore. We have another question from Wildlife Lady who says, what a lovely bird of prey and excellent to see. So yes, Wildlife Lady, it's not every day we see lizard buzzards. Even on safaris or when I'm out in the bush, I must say you definitely hear a lizard buzzard. They've often vocalized a lot more than they're seen. They'll sit up in a very thick canopy tree and you'll hear them vocalizing, but you don't often see them. So I'm going to play the call of a lizard buzzard for you. So next time you're sitting in your garden, maybe you'll be lucky to hear this vocalization if you're somewhere in Africa, and you'll realize it was actually a lizard buzzard.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly here in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marloth Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the 2 cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every Safari Live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
So those more permanent burrows, the large ones, hyenas, warthogs will move in. The medium-sized burrows, which are smaller, like your little Airbnb burrows, again can harbour warthogs and all kinds of other little nocturnal creatures that might live in there. And the smaller burrows can also be home to many different creatures. So thank you for your comment there, Spas Inkov. Nice to see some zebra coming down. I can still hear lots of wildebeest in the distance. So Julian Thomas, thank you for your comment. So Julian Thomas is commenting that this is the only the second lizard buzzard that he's ever seen on Africam. Apparently you do spend a lot of time, Julian, looking at the cameras and hoping for birds. So great view. So thank you, Julian. Julian Thomas is quite the avid birder, I must say. So yeah, to get a comment like that from Julian is yeah, very exciting to hear that lizard buzzard is a very rare sighting. Julian, I think I have also only seen a lizard buzzard twice on the Africam cameras. So yeah, very cool to see these little birds of prey. You'd be surprised, I mean, for us it's quite difficult here. We can't really use our binoculars to have a look in the trees around these watering holes, but often if I'm sitting at a pan or a watering hole and there's not too much activity, I like to do my bird lists. So I'll open my eBird and I start eBirding away and creating a bird list of the day, using your binoculars to scout in all of the trees all around you. And that's when often you might be surprised that, oh, that's not a branch, it's actually a little bird of prey of some sort, or a vulture, or some unusual bird that you did not see without your binoculars. I'm trying to count and see quite a few zebras still here today, not as many as we did see the other day. On Monday there was so many zebra here, but still in the distance you can see lots of zebra moving around, lots of wildebeest. Just having a bit of quiet time to just appreciate the sight and sounds around us. Lots of zebra commotion. Our wildebeest making a distress call, sounds like the youngsters, and of course our blacksmith lapwings also vocalizing. This time sitting at these watering holes is a great time to just take in the environment around you, have a bit of a relaxing time, enjoy your snacks that your guide has put out for you. Hopefully he has not forgotten the snacks at the lodge and has a nice snack platter with some cookies or rusks, maybe if you're lucky some biltong and peanuts, and just sit there with a nice drink and your snacks and just take in the nature around you. So Spas Inkov, thank you for your comment. So Spas Inkov has sent through a comment. Amazing to see all the zebra here at Moela. Any chances of wildebeest here? So Spas Inkov, I can hear wildebeest in the distance. I'm not seeing any, but there's definitely some young wildebeest that are vocalizing. No, actually, if you look at our 1 o'clock, there's a line of zebra coming, and I can see one little wildebeest in the group of, or this little harem of zebra. So there are some wildebeest around here, but mostly lots of zebra moving through this area. You hear the splish and splash of the zebra. So often if I'm in a hide with my guest, I also like to take some books. So that's when you take books and you can do some birding. So look through your bird books. Yeah, great time to kind of really soak in some information, share stories, a bit of wildlife chitter-chatter. So Mawela is a area that lies along the northern movement route between the Kaipan National Park, sorry, I always struggle with that word, and Mahali Pans National Park. So it's near the Boteki River. It does form part of the ancient migratory corridor for zebra, especially in these seasonal migration routes, so when they're moving through in the dry season. So depending on the water levels and grazing availability, that's why we're seeing so many zebra, wildebeest, all moving through this area. So it does form up to 500-kilometer round trip that these animals will be making while they move through this huge transfrontier area looking for food and water. So obviously the wet season in Botswana is November to April, and that's when the zebra will move north into the Kaipan and sometimes further towards Mawela areas, as well as the Okavango fingers. So during the dry season, which we're currently in now, which is May to October, lots of the water dries up, and that's when the zebra and wildebeest will then again head south towards the Boteti River in the Mahali, where there's a permanent source of water and there's enough food for all these animals that are migrating. Come on, wildebeest, where are you guys? I'm seeing 2 or 3 wildebeest, but not too much. There's definitely wildebeest around. Some of these zebra are having a bit of a rest in the sand, maybe having a nice afternoon sand bath. So sand bathing is so important for zebra, for antelope, also for birds. Helps to coat their skin, remove any parasites, and in the case of birds also removes any excess oil that might be on their feathers, so keeping their feathers in good condition. Looks like we've got 2 Egyptian geese down here at this watering hole as well. I don't think there's any crocodiles in these pans. We were speaking about this the other day. The water is very shallow, and the zebra wouldn't be too confident walking deep into the water if there was crocodiles in this water. So other species that we might see in this area, in this Mawela area here in Botswana, is besides the zebra and wildebeest, big herds of zebra and wildebeest, you would also expect to see some eland. You get lots of elephant movements, local movements through this area that might overlap with the zebra breeding herds as they move through. The predators, African fish eagle. So this Mawela pan here is not too far from Camelthorn, the farmhouse where we were earlier with all those hippos. That's probably where the African fish eagle is calling from. And the predators that we find in this area are lions, hyenas. They will follow these migratory herds, and it's a great opportunity for these predators to make an easy kill. So often in the chaos of all of these animals congregating in big numbers, individuals can get separated from the herd, which Nadine mentioned the other day. If she was a zebra in this congregation, she would have lost her family a long time ago, and in that case that is a perfect opportunity for lions to take advantage of that. Got a good question coming through here from Animal Lover. Animal Lover is asking, are there any birds you find in this area that we don't have in South Africa? So animal lover, some of the birds I've seen in Botswana that you might get in this area are the Hartlib's babbler. So Hartlib's babbler is not often found in South Africa and Zimbabwe that I know of. It can be found in Botswana and Namibia. But some other very notable birds that can be found in this area is the Powell's fishing owl. You can find the Powell's fishing owl in South Africa, but it is a very cool fishing owl that is found in this area. So it's quite a rare and mysterious water bird, prominently found along these water courses, and is known for silently roosting in a lot of these trees above. So yeah, animal lover, I hope that's answering your question. We also have some rollers and bee eaters. Of course, lilac-breasted roller we do have in southern Africa, but carmine bee eaters would be a little bit more difficult to find in South Africa. We do get carmines in Zimbabwe that come through into the Zambezi and Mana pools for nesting. Oh, check folks, we have a monitor lizard. There's a monitor lizard just at the watering hole here. As the water narrows, there's a monitor lizard. That looks like he's about to go into the water. The Nile monitor lizard, probably causing mischief and mayhem as he's raided some bird's nest along the water's edge. So you see there's some Egyptian geese here, and if this monitor lizard found the nest for these Egyptian geese, they would most definitely raid that nest. So animal lovers, some more really cool birds you would find here. So a lot of the birds here in Botswana would be similar to our birds in South Africa. I'm not finding too many birds that are kind of isolated or restricted to this area. So you would get a lot of your wading birds, your open-billed storks, spoonbills, egrets, herons, which we do get in southern Africa as well. But rock pratincoles, you might not get the specific rock pratincoles that they get in this area. They are restricted to their small wader, and they do like to hang out in very rocky areas along the rivers and rapids. There's a lot of small passerines like your babblers, as I mentioned. Oh, your white-browed robin chat. I know we do get that white-browed robin chat in South Africa, but another very cool bird we can find here. So a lot of the birds that we would see in this area in Mwela in Botswana would be very similar to our birds in southern Africa. So it would be quite difficult to find birds that here in this area that we don't find in South Africa. But again, there are quite a few really cool rare birds that would be difficult to find in South Africa. Ooh, so we have a cool comment coming through from Mr. H UAE 87. Is sending his comment saying that they have seen bat-eared fox and Cape fox here in this area in Botswana. So that's interesting, Mr. HUAE, that you've seen bat-eared fox and Cape foxes here. Perfect habitat. I know bat-eared fox and Cape fox do like to have these open, very sandy areas. Nice open flays for the bat-eared foxes. I can see this flay that we're looking at now is probably on the right-hand side. Perfect place for bat-eared fox to have their little den sites, and the Cape fox. So wow, very cool. Those are very cool little nocturnal creatures that would come out at night. Quite rare to see as well. So thank you for that comment, Mr. H. Another two interesting little predators that we'd find in this area, bat-eared fox and Cape fox. I've seen Cape fox before in Namibia, I believe. So very cool to see those foxes, and perfect habitat for them to occur within these areas. Looks like our monitor lizard has disappeared. Alrighty folks, why don't we head across to Tembe Elephant Park in South Africa and see what is waiting for us there at the waterhole. So we've got some more lazy elephants here at Tembe Elephant Park. So we had quite a few elephants that we started off the show in Oldonyo over in Kenya. some big elephants with very lazy trunks as well. So it looks like we've got some more bachelor elephant bulls here at Tembe that have just come down to the watering hole for a nice relaxing Wednesday afternoon. It is hump day, and I'm sure some of you are looking forward to the weekend that is approaching. I hope everyone has had a great week so far. Julian Thomas has also sent through another comment. Sorry folks, sounds like our black eagle parents are at the nest. So let's go and check out our black eagle nest, shall we? Oh, so we came over here earlier to have a look at our black eagle nest. We are here in Rodekrans, where our black eagle looks like it's just made a kill and brought something back to the nest, and unfortunately it looks like it's another hyrax. So this chick has got a very high demand for protein, so that little chick needs to be fed a lot and will be fed meat from the time it hatches from its egg. So usually these black eagles only have 2 eggs, and 1 egg is just an insurance policy. These eagles only nest once a year, so generally we're in July at the moment, so June, July, their eggs normally hatch in June, July, that's when they will be nesting. So they only nest once a year, so that's why it's so crucial and so important that they successfully raise their chicks. And we were talking about earlier how they're prominent. Most of their diet comprises of these hyraxes. I know it is very sad to think a little rock dussie is being eaten right now, but this chick needs food, and yeah, that's the circle of life. We wouldn't want the hyrax population to become overpopulated, now would we? Very cool. So 90% of these black eagle diets is actually hyrax, so they feed on a lot of hyraxes. And if this black eagle were to find that monitor lizard that we just saw at Moella, I'm pretty sure the black eagle would try to kill that monitor lizard. It will also make for a great meal. So we have a comment from Julian Thomas. Thank you for your comment. Yes, Julian Thomas, the white-browed robin chat is a very stunning little bird. So folks, I do recommend, same as Julian has recommended, to have a look at some pictures of the white-browed robin chat, or if you have your birding app with you now, I definitely recommend checking out that little robin chat. BK and I over in Mabulla spent a few days searching for that little robin chat. We found an area that he liked to hang out in, but it was very difficult to actually see them. Got typical robin chat behavior. They like to hang out in the undergrowth, very thick areas. They don't stay still for very long, but very beautiful little bird, which is probably a little bird that if this black eagle came across, they would snack on too. So these black eagles do feed on smaller birds as well. So a white-browed robin chat would need to be careful of any eagles close by. Even a sparrowhawk would take out a little robin chat for sure. Isn't this awesome, watching a black eagle feeding its chicks? It's a little chick. This chick is growing so quickly. Crazy to believe how big it is already. Such a lovely view that this eagle has from this nest here, and it's been very interesting watching this family of eagles building their nest, securing their chick.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because I've... best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, you know, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Eagle nest that we were watching earlier. So yeah, they do try their best to make sure they keep their nests out of the way of any predators. They don't want monitor lizards, snakes, maybe other leopards or birds of prey to come and feed on their nests. Thank you, Mr. Rhino, for coming to visit us today, and I hope that he... Oh, there's 2 rhinos. Could be a few rhinos coming down for a drink. I know we had a rhino on Monday with a little calf that also came down for a drink. The rhino population is doing very well here in the Eastern Cape. Perfect habitat. Seems to be very favorable conditions for them. Maybe if we're lucky, the rhino will have a bit of a mud bath. He looks slightly two-toned. Looks like he's already been having a mud bath somewhere. We also sometimes have a little pied wagtail that hangs out at this watering hole, which are always lovely to have these rhinos coming down. The water level has dropped quite a lot, so it does make for a nice rhino mud bath spot. This hide is a perfect place to get some nice close-up photos of this rhino. We were talking about photography earlier and how these hides provide perfect photographic opportunities for you to get nice close-up photos of large animals or any wildlife that you wouldn't normally see from a different angle. So if you were in this hide right now, you'd really be focusing on getting those close-up photos of this rhino's head, those ears, the eyes, the mouth, the feet, very unusual feet that rhino have as well. So yeah, these hides do provide very close encounters and perfect photographic opportunities to get nice close-up views of these animals. Especially at night. I know there's a lot of hides now. Ooh. Is that the rhino snorting? I know there are a lot of hides that, like at Lintore over in Kenya, one of our camera locations, you can actually go and sit at that hide at night, and there's incredible photos that are coming from that. Photographers visiting that hide, leopards, you have that striped hyena that frequents that pan, little genets, caracal, all kinds of creatures that nocturnal or crepuscular mammals that come out to that watering hole at night. I know there's also a new night hide over in Mana Pools, if I can remember the name of the lodge. But yeah, some incredible stuff coming out of these hides. where you sit patiently and wait for the wildlife to come out. Of course, lots of patience is required, which I know I struggle with my patience, but at tides sometimes you can just sit for hours and hours, and yeah, patience really does pay off. The longer you sit and wait, sometimes you might be rewarded with the most incredible sighting. So definitely need to get very comfortable in these hides and yeah, see what comes by. Alright folks, why don't we head back to our black eagle nest or Varro's eagle nest and watch some more activity that is happening there, a bit of feeding activity. It looks like this chick is still being fed. Oh my goodness gracious me. It seems like this chick has got quite an appetite for such a small little chick. I do love the very majestic colors of this black eagle or Varro's eagle. So Varro's is actually, this Varro's eagle is named after a French naturalist in the 19th century, Jules Varro's, who was exploring Africa and obviously discovered this very incredible and majestic eagle. I'm trying to see, let's see. Oh yeah, it looks fluffy enough for a hyrax, this kill. These eagles are very meticulous hunters. They're very good at hunting. They have extremely good vision. They can see up to 3 to 4 times sharper than the human eye, and that is what allows them to be able to spot these rock dussies that are sunning themselves on the rocks from over a kilometer away. So they'll soar over these rocky areas, these eagles. When they spot a hyrax, they have a very quick ability, a quick sense of being able to quickly swoop down and catch these hyraxes. The hyraxes will normally dive into the little caves or little cracks and crevices in the rocks, but if they're not quick enough, they will become a little black eagle chick's lunch, as we are witnessing now. So these black eagles are quite fiercely territorial. These pairs of black eagles may defend their territory, so over 100 kilometers of rocky mountainous area that they might defend. They'll even partake in aerial battles where they perform a talon gripping in the mid-air, and that is a territorial display, very dramatic aerial display, which they practice in order to fight any intruders into their territory. So lovely mountainous habitat that they live in here. I'm just having a look at this incredible view. These eagles will use the same nest for quite a few years in a row. Obviously they'll always within their home range or their territory, and they mark this territory or defend the territory and use this nest.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
System, these eagles, so they're able to digest fur, bone, and all kinds of very hard tissue. So we have a question from Spas Enkov is asking, are there many species in Africa named after Varroes or in Australia? So yes, apparently Varroe's name does show up all over the natural world, not just in Africa. So the Varroes family, particularly Jules Varroes, is the brother of Eduardo Varroes from the 19th century, of French naturalist. They were explorers and they did do a lot of exploring and collecting samples all over the world. So they traveled extensively, the Varroes family, through Africa, Asia, as well as Australia, collecting and documenting many different species in some museums in Europe. This was during the colonial period, and their names have been attached to many species across the globe. So yeah, your Varroes eagle, your Varroes sifaka, which is a kangaroo creature, some sort of marsupial, a famous lemur in Madagascar. The Varroes skink is another species named by this family. The Varroes tree frog, Varroes mouse. So yes, in Australia we also have the Varroes eagle owl, which is also in Africa. So yes, this Varroes family did seem to get around quite a lot and name a lot of different creatures all over the world. So I hope that answers your question there, Spas Inkov. Alicia Demery has sent through her question saying, gorgeous. Alicia, I guess you're talking about the very cute little African eagle owl chick. I'm quite surprised at how much this little chick is consuming. So we've got another question from Melanistic Marble. Thank you for your question. Melanistic Marble is commented about this view does make you giddy after a while. So Melanistic Marble, yes, I must say I do get a little bit giddy with heights. So I don't know if I would be too keen to live in a confined space on top of or on the edge of this cliff. It's a little bit petrifying if you do think about it. I think I would also be a bit giddy. This chick has been confined to this nest, but it's incredible how quickly it grows and develops its ability to fly, and that's because it's feeding on such nutritious and protein-rich meat that the parent is feeding it. So this rock dusty meat is very high in fat, very high in protein, and very soft. So perfect for this little chick to digest. So yeah, I find it quite fascinating how this black eagle parent actually swallowed a whole rock dusty drumstick just now. That must have been quite uncomfortable going down, but if you think about it, herons and storks, fish eagle, they also swallow their prey completely whole. And yeah, it's incredible how birds have such a strong digestive system. They can very easily digest very hard pieces of meat and food. But yeah, this I think if this chick was at an all-you-can-eat buffet, he probably would have been almost exploding by now. Have a look at how much meat he has consumed, this chick. So these eagles do have a very long lifespan. The Varro's eagle can be known to live up to 40 years old, 30 to 40 years old, which is incredible. And these nests can be up to 2 meters wide and up to 1 meter deep. So I think the other day we saw some of this very fresh vegetation. On Monday we saw the parents bringing in this fresh vegetation. And I'm convinced it's to prevent the chick from falling out of the nest. So yeah, the very protective parents taking very good care of this brand new little black eagle. Very attentive parents. Do form monogamous pairs, so these black eagles are monogamous birds, and they do have lifelong bonds, and very much known for their soaring side by side. Often see them flying up very high together in their pair bonds. He just keeps eating. When is he going to stop, this little guy? I think he's going to become a very strong, big and strong black eagle when he grows up. So last few comments coming through from Lucy. Thank you for watching today, Lucy. Joanne Miller, thank you for watching. It has been a great day. We've had a lot of activity today, lots of interesting sightings at our different locations. So just want to say a big thank you to all of our viewers from the Wild Earth team. Have a lovely Wednesday.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We're heading out on a journey of natural discovery through some of South Africa's most beautiful and wilderness areas. The Greater Kruger, the Albany district of the Eastern Cape, and the mystical Waterberg. Each location has its own unique sense of place. Each offers something different, and all give a sense of peace and wonder. If you like what you see on Safari Spotlight, you can visit these special wild places by visiting Wild Earth Travel. We'll create your dream safari.